welcome back to Tavern Take Five. I am Gayla, aka the Awkward Introverted Therapist, and with me once again,
Winter Ross, your registered dietitian.
extraordinaire.
Thank you.
So, today we are getting into nutrition, well, specifically nutrition labels. But before we do, I got some news for you, Winter.
Yes.
So, I started the 75
hmm
hard challenge again. Um,
hmm
yeah, this would have been the first week because I've had to start over and over. Well, today is day number one again. Uh,
hmm
had some, but also I ended up being challenged for something else, and that was a 30-day fruit detox meal.
Okay. So nothing but fruit.
Nothing but fruit. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
hmm
yes. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that. I think of the sugar. I think of like because of course, the difference between like simple sugars such as like table sugar and
Mhm.
sugar that comes from fruit is the fact that fruit sugar has more nutrients. It's more nutrient dense with different vitamins and minerals added to it, so it's a healthier option. But like I always say, everything you need a balance when you eat your meals. I'm not saying that you can't get any of course, you're going to get your fiber.
Mhm.
So you're going to get healthy carbs, your healthy sugars from that. Um, uh, but you can get healthy fat. I mean, if you're eating an avocado, because technically that's a fruit. I don't know about much protein that you're going to get from fruit. However, not saying it can't be done, but I don't know. No, for me, I would say that's not a healthy challenge
I
to
know
partake
it's
in.
yeah, it was a 30. The gauntlet was thrown down, and I was like, I can't, I cannot not accept the challenge. So I was like, all right. But I was
Mhm.
looking in different things like so avocado,
Right.
cucumbers,
hmm
um, what tomatoes,
Yeah.
olives,
Mhm.
bell peppers. So all of those, even jalapeno peppers, all peppers are fruits. And so I started looking more. I was like, okay, what else? Now there are some things that they had listed that I found online, and I've seen it a few times.
Mhm.
And the argument are legumes are fruit because technically they come from pods.
I see what
So
you're saying, yeah.
So it's
I
like
would
botanically they're fruit. So I don't
uh,
know if that's really okay because it's botanically they're fruit.
yeah, because I've never really counted legumes as a fruit. So
Mm.
then it's kind of like, but I mean, that's an excellent source of protein. So I definitely would say go for it if you can, if they allow that in your 30-day fruit detox, then definitely, yeah. Then I would feel better about it. And
Okay.
like you said, there are different fruits that you can intake that are not so sugar heavy because cucumbers are very water heavy. So that's a
Okay.
good thing. So I'm like, okay, I can see it working.
Yeah.
You definitely won't
Okay.
be dehydrated, that's for
No,
sure.
not at all. Not at all. And with the 75 hard, I got to drink
Mhm,
a gallon of water.
mhm.
So yeah. So
Okay.
you all heard it here, if I'm looking a little frail,
Yeah,
or
'cause
I'm all excited, hyped up.
are you
Yeah.
allowed to still take your multivitamin and all
Yes.
that good stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so then you should be okay. So this
Yeah.
since this is a 30-day detox, okay, but to be sustainable,
No.
no. Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, not in the least bit. But no, so I can
Mhm.
have tea. So I'll have my burdock root sarsaparilla tea to
Okay, get some good antioxidants in there,
right.
yeah.
And I can use a date to sweeten it. So I'm gonna actually heat it up and then blend it.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at you.
Yeah. I,
Okay,
I'm
I
I'm
like
making
that.
it happen because burdock root and
Mhm.
by
So
itself with no sweetening.
when do you start this detox? Does that start
Oh
like tomorrow?
no, that started Monday.
Oh, the fruit detox already started Monday. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. All right. So now that I dropped that bombshell on Winter and got her thoughts,
Yes.
let's get to the business at hand.
Mhm.
Nutrition labels. Let's hit it.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about nutrition labels. I'm going to share my screen. We have a side by side comparison of old nutrition labels versus the current ones for 2023. So let me share my screen.
And while you're sharing it, was there, and I'm sure it was, I'm just not privy, or I don't know, but what made them change the labels? Was it a
I
requirement put down by FDA or CDC or what?
I wanna say it undergoes a change about every year, and they're not always big changes. Sometimes they're minor changes, and it's more so based off the general public and what they consume and how they're consuming it, and to also make sure that it's, more easy, to read for the general public.
Okay.
Um, and so, especially like one of the biggest changes you'll see here is the sugar amount. So, we always had total carbohydrate, always had the dietary fiber, and we had sugars, but now you see it breaks it down from total sugars and added sugars. And so that
Mhm.
was one of the biggest things because food naturally has sugar in it, but then we also add high fructose corn syrup, other additional sugars. So sometimes when you see sugar back in the day, when you would look at a previous label, it's like, oh, okay, this is all the sugar that comes in this. And it's like, no, some sugar was added. So if you would get it without the additional sugar, you can kind of save yourself some carbs and some
Right.
calories. So yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to do a compare and contrast as well as just go over the things that you need to know. So of course the nutrition fact label is called nutrition facts, but the nutrient portion of the label really doesn't come in until you get to the starting at the total
Mhm.
area, the protein area. So that's the actual nutrient section of the nutrition fat label. But starting from the top, you will have your serving size. Your super size are usually in pieces, cups, or containers. And as you can see, this and I'm gonna for educational purposes while I'm talking through, I'm going to be more so referencing the new label. And then if there's any difference, I'll point that out as we go along.
Got
So
it.
8 servings per container. So that lets you know how many servings is in this one container of food. But what I want you to know, that doesn't mean this is what because this particular side came from the FDA. This doesn't mean that this is what the recommended amount you should eat from this container. It's just letting you know what the general population most likely eats, which counts as a serving. So that's not what they're recommending to you. So they're not saying one serving is considered to be 2/3 of a cup. They're not saying that that's the recommended amount from this item. It's just saying that that's what the general public would eat. So one serving size is 2/3 of a cup, which is 55 grams. However, you have a total of 8 servings per container. So if you know that you're eating more than 2/3 of a cup, you're eating a whole cup, you need to multiply whatever that is when you're taking in account your daily values, when you're taking account your total fat. So if you really have 2 servings of this, then it's not going to just be 8 grams of total fat. It's going to be 16 grams. So whatever the amount is that you eat, you want to multiply that.
So
Going
that's
in,
tricky.
I
That's
know.
because so think about like if that's popcorn
Hmm.
and well no, let's go with chips because you can't eat just a small some you open the bag and next thing you know you're at the bottom of the bag.
I know. And so that's what another thing is. A lot of those bags of chips, when you're getting the smaller ones, that's another thing that they went into a service size being that bag of chips as a
Hmm.
whole, because like I said, it's not what is recommended, but that's what the public normally does. If you get a small bag of chips, you're gonna eat that whole thing. You're not gonna eat half of it, which is a serving size. You know what I mean? So that's why they say that's typically a serving. But when you get those like party bags of chips, that's
Hmm.
when you get down to dividing it, and it'll tell you this many pieces. It's less of cups and grams and weights and stuff like that. It's more so,
Hmm.
okay, 12 pieces of chips. But
Hmm.
nobody really wants to sit up there and count out 12 pieces of
No,
chips. Even if
no.
you're eating candy and things like that, it'll tell you M&Ms. Okay, 5 pieces is one serving. You know.
Oh, that's absurd because I could just see somebody just grabbing.
Yeah. So I used to read that back in the day when I went to college for, dietetics. I was reading the bad labels and I'm like, man, so really this whole bag of candy, like a bag of M&Ms is really like maybe 2 to 3 servings in a bag of M&M, but now I want to say, I'm not sure cuz I haven't been eating like M&Ms lately. I want to say one bag is considered a serving size because
Mhm.
that's what the general public will eat and consume.
Right.
Mhm. So then going down to your calories amount. So like I said, so one serving is 2/3 of a cup. So that's 230 calories just for 2/3 of a cup. If you double that and give two servings of 2/3 of a cup, then that would be 460 calories. So that's something you also want to keep in mind. So that's the actual calorie amount per the serving. So if you do that times this whole entire um container, which is 8 servings. I don't like doing public math, so I'm gonna do it on my little handy dandy calculator. It's gonna be 8 times 230, 1,840 calories from
Ooh.
this whole whole entire package of whatever this may be, because I don't think it told us what it is. But
Mm.
that's a lot of calories if you were to eat the whole entire container. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mhm. So you always want to take it into account when you're, especially for those people who like to count their calories. Look at the serving per container, how many you have. Look at what one serving size is, and you want to always multiply however many servings you're having times the calories, times the grams, times your daily value, so you know what you're actually getting when you consume this. Yep. So then now we're going to move down to this portion. Like I said, this is the actual nutrient portion. So when you're looking at these items, total fat, cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, and protein, it's going to break it down by grams. Over here is your daily value percentage. I had someone once tell me, they learn how to read the nutrition labels, and I asked them, well, do you know how to read the daily values? And they were like, oh no, because that's not important. And I was like, well, it kind of makes your reviewing of nutrition labels go a little bit faster, and I think it is important. So they typically base these values, if you can see here at the bottom, if I can go down a little bit, off of a 2000 calorie diet, as you can see over here and over here at the bottom. So 2000 calorie diet, so that is your percentage of that 2000 calorie diet. Now most individuals, depending on your gender, your age, your weight, and your height, your calorie and your activity level, your calorie intake will differ from others. So you might be where you can consume 3,000, 3,500, or even less than 2,000. So maybe 1,500. So this lets you know if you consume a serving or more of this particular item, how much of that nutrient is out of 100% that you've received for the day. So your total fat, and it's all out of 100, you will have received 10,000% of your 100% of that total value. Anything that is 5% or less means it's low. So as you can see, the saturated fat, 1 gram, is 5% or less. So 5% or less, like I said, that means it's low in that nutrient. Anything that is 20% or more means that it's high in that nutrient. So right here, you can see the added sugars for this portion right here is 20%. So it's very high in that particular nutrient compared to the other nutrients in this nutrition label. Going over to your total fat. So right here where it says that it's 8 grams, 10%. So that puts it kind of in the middle, since we said 5% is low, 20% is high. And so your total fat is 8 grams. Saturated fat right here, you can see 1 gram, which is low, and trans fat. So the FDA does not regulate trans fat right here, or total sugars as far in regards to a daily value percentage, because the people, the experts who go over and make their recommendations, cannot recommend what amount of trans fat as well as what amount of total sugars is healthy percentage to have in your diet. So that's why they don't put recommendations right there. So trans fat, there's no daily recommendation, but of course you would want this to be low. So 0 grams is perfect. When it
Mm.
comes to cholesterol, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Mm-mm. I was just saying,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So then when it comes to cholesterol, we already talked about how cholesterol does not raise cholesterol levels in your body, but saturated fats and trans fats do. So when it comes to cholesterol, it's okay to have a little bit. You want to keep it on the lower end, so 5% to 15% would be okay. When it comes to sodium, 160 milligrams, 7%. That's still close enough to the lower end of scale of things. So you want to match that because that's 7% of your daily values.
Mm,
Total carbohydrates, this is where it gets interesting. So when it comes to carbs, you know that your fiber counts as a carbohydrate, your sugar counts as a carbohydrate, and your starch counts as a carbohydrate. Those are the three elements that makes up carbs. Right here, you're seeing that your total carbohydrate amount is 37 grams. Your dietary fiber makes up 4 grams of that, and total sugars makes up 12 grams of that. When you get down here where it says the included 10 grams of added sugars. That means out of the 12 grams of total sugar, 10 grams of that is sugar that they add into it that does not naturally occur in that product. So that means really the only amount of sugar that naturally occurs in this product is 2 grams
hmm.
and 10 grams is added. So you
And
want to take that into account when you're looking at your nutrition label and eating certain foods.
and what's the recommended, or is there a recommended amount? Well, the daily recommended amount, duh. But I'm trying to think of how I'm trying to formulate or ask this question. It's about the added sugar because I had it
Mhm.
in my mind. I think this was from something that I read or um, saw, and it
Mhm.
was attempting to keep those sugars um, at or below 10 grams.
For your
I think it was
daily value,
added. Hmm. Well,
for the
not the
added.
daily. Yeah, like any products that you eat, try to keep it below it, at least try to focus on or target single digits.
I will say this, when it comes to added sugars, because like sugars, especially if you're not the most what I would say, nutrient dense eater. You
Hmm.
know, it's hard to not get added sugars in the foods that we eat, especially when they're processed foods.
Hmm.
So for me, you would want to see the included sugar, the additional sugars be 5% or less. So then that would put it about 1 gram or so. As far as your total values of carbohydrates, period, you know, that depends specifically on the person. So that's when a dietitian would come in and calculate your nutrient values for you. Or a lot of people like to use like the different apps such as my fitness pals and other things of that nature to
Hmm.
calculate their macronutrients. And once you get your carbohydrate amount, you could take a portion of that out to be like, to say, hey, okay, of simple sugars, this is how much I will allot myself, you know, the smaller portion, maybe 10% or no more than 20% of the day can have added sugars out of those carbohydrates that you give yourself.
Gotcha. So basically, that one right there, that hits it right on the nose with that 20%. So you hit that, and it's like no more added sugars.
Yes, because and that's why I say it's so hard when you're eating when you don't have nutrient dense meals. So yeah, that right there, yeah, you wouldn't want any more added sugars for the day.
Mm, got it.
Okay, and then you have your protein right here. And when it comes to protein, that they don't also show you what your daily value is. That's also dependent upon the person, so that's something you want to take in account. From this section, what you want, the foods of course that you want to limit would be your total fat, your sodium, and your cholesterol. You want to, well, I'm sorry, not your cholesterol, but your total fats, including your saturated fats, your trans fats, and your sodium, and your added sugars. Those are the elements that you want to keep on the lower end and stay away from. So you want to make sure that those items are less than 5%. Now, when you come down to this section, these are the items that the general public normally do not get enough of. So it lets you know what the value you're receiving from these meal items, because you want to try to hit these marks every day to get these nutrients right here. So your vitamin D, your calcium, your iron, your potassium, those are items that you want to try to make sure that you're getting the adequate amount of, as well as your fiber. So you want to add fiber into that. Make sure you're hitting your amounts for that within your daily value of nutrients. And then on here, it doesn't give the example of your actual ingredients, but just know when you're reading your ingredient list, the first item is the highest amount in the food that you're eating, and then the last item has the least amount of that item or nutrient in the food that you're eating. So that's the least amount of that ingredient. And I think that about sums it up. So, and you can just see the differences right here as well. Vitamin A is not anymore one of the items, as well as vitamin C is not one of the items that are massively like we're not receiving enough nutrients. And I think that's partly due to like a lot of our foods being fortified with these different items, as well as enriched with these different items. And then previously they also broke down um for 2000 versus 2500 calorie diet, the nutrients that you should have less than. So they don't include that on the newer labels now either. All righty, and I'm going to remove this off the screen and see if you guys have any questions. Well, if you have any questions in regards to what I just went over, sorry.
No, I think that's it. I think it comes down to, like you said, just being knowledgeable about those numbers, and
Mhm.
watching them. And when you're talking about like chips and all of that, being mindful of the fact that, well, if you eat a whole bag, that one serving size, you've had maybe like four or five. Or if you eat the whole bag, in that case it would be 8 servings. And like you said, that was what, 1,000 and some odd, what was it?
Yes, it was. Hold on, oh no, I deleted it. Yeah, it was like 1,800 and something calories, and I'm like, wow. And we don't know what that was for. It could have
Right.
been for lasagna, but what if it was for just a bag of chips? Like, is that how you want to spend your calories? And then imagine, sometimes we feel so horrible after we eat certain foods and stuff like that, because we're eating calories, like thousands of calories of nutrient dense food. So empty calories basically. So we're not serving ourselves like we need to keep our energy levels up, because that is our source of energy for the day when we eat our food. So,
Right.
and something else I do want to point out is when it comes to the sodium level, because I used to be a person who ate a lot of sodium, like very salty items to
Mhm.
intake a lot of sodium. The normal daily value for sodium is 2,400 milligrams. So when people see that, they're like, oh, okay, that's not a lot. But sometimes you get these meals, especially TV dinners, and it's like 640 right with one TV dinner. And
Right.
then some people have to take low sodium, and we can talk about this in another segment. But when it comes to low sodium, it's only 2,200. Like it only drops off 200.
Yeah,
So, but it's not it's not giving you that much. So
that's funny.
yeah, so it's very interesting to me, because sometimes I have to do counseling where I have to show people who are very dependent on eating TV dinners and things of that, like, hey, you can still have this, drink a lot of fluids, if they're generally healthy, drink a
Right.
lot of fluids, and make sure you're watching the sodium levels in these different TV dinners. So
Hmm. Yeah. And so that gives people pause, or I would hope it gives people pause when they are eating those things, the junk,
yeah,
and or when they say, I don't know why I can't lose weight. I don't eat much. I don't eat breakfast. I drink some coffee and that's
yep,
it. And then at lunch, because I'm working through my lunch, I may have a bag of chips, and
mm-hmm.
then I just grab something on the way home, like, and I only eat basically one meal. Well, how many calories in that one meal? Because, but
Yeah,
can we do a quick search of, what is it? Big Mac meal. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
let's see, nutrition facts
Yeah, let's do that.
in
'Cause
a
you'll be surprised, because a lot of people just eat, especially working adults, 1 big meal a day, or what they think is a small meal, but
mhm,
it's very packed with a lot of calories.
yep. The typical Big Mac meal. Big
Mhm.
Mac, medium water fries, and a medium soft drink. Total 1,100 calories,
Mm,
44 grams of fat,
mm.
149 grams of carb, 1,225 milligrams of sodium, and 29 grams of protein.
Wow, that's a lot.
Right.
Mhm, and you don't think about it when you're consuming it. You're like, "Oh, I just got this small
Right.
small
This
Big
is the
Mac.
only
That's all
this is
I have
my
today."
only meal of the day. And it's like, but what's in
Yeah.
that meal?
Right,
That
right.
is
Is it
crazy.
helping your gut or is it hindering your gut? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
if you are a person that's um facing challenges with losing weight, is this going to help your metabolism to help you lose that weight? Or is it going to hinder it? So that's things you have to think about.
Right. Hinder all day long. That's just the shackle. You might as well say it has a hold on the fat and it's keeping it right there on you.
Yeah, definitely. So I just hope this is helpful when people, like you say, go and they grab food. Because another thing I noticed, especially with the rise of these wonderful meal prep companies like
Hmm.
Factor and all these other cool companies, which I think they have delicious meals. I've tried their meals, but when I look at the nutrition labels, they're not that nutrient dense. I won't say not healthy, but they're not nutrient dense. They're very high in sodium. Um, so it's kind of like, you would have did better cooking, the food yourself, even though I understand it's like option to have healthy meals at your fingertip that are fresh. But even when they say like they have a dietitian reviewing it, I'm like, well, what dietitian do y'all have reviewing this that's saying that this is okay? Because I'm like, I wouldn't count these as healthy. They're average, healthier
Well,
than a Big Mac.
there you go. And maybe they're talking about, I don't know. I can't even make it up and say maybe they're thinking about the food. It's no, I'm not gonna even pretend.
Yeah, because the sodium levels on some of those meals, because like I said, they taste great, but I'm like, man, this sodium is high,
Hmm.
So I'm like, it makes you think. So pay attention to that, everyone as well. Like when you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to order from this place or that place, these pre-planned meals and stuff like that. Look at those nutrition labels because they do allow you to look at them prior to purchasing them.
Okay. I did not know that, so that's pretty cool. I know like the ingredients for those people who have like dietary sensitivities or allergies and all of that. So yeah, but I didn't know that that you can look at the nutrition part of it, the nutrition facts.
Mhm.
Um what about for those people who just don't have time? It's like, look, I'm going for the quickest, easiest. I have a kid who has to be in sports. Um they have practice. I just got off work. Are there any options that off the top of your head that would be ideal when you're thinking
Meal
about nutrition?
you have to meal prep. And then we make time for what we want to make time for, and I get it that we're busy people. But when stuff hit the fan, you rather do it now than be in the hospital or be in the doctor's office trying to figure out what's going on with you. And now your body's making you make the time later, right? So
Right.
while you're healthy and you can do it, make the time now. And the quickest thing that I can say, they have like these different recipes online that are like 3 ingredient recipes. I want to say, was it Aldi's? I think it was Aldi's. They came out with a recipe book. Um, yeah, they came out with a book, and
Oh.
it was like a 3 ingredient recipe book with healthy recipes in it. And it was super cool. And you get all the recipes from Aldi's.
Hmm.
And I'm like a crock pot meal, an air fryer girl meal, whatever you want to do, pop that
Right.
stuff in there. I mean, I used to cook on the oven and the stove, but now since I love my air fryer, everything goes in the air fryer, set it and
Hmm.
forget it. And then just pack it up, have your stuff packed up. And another thing is having small meals throughout the day. So maybe you're not a person who can do 3 regular meals a day. Maybe you're a person who has to do 5 to 6 meals in their small meals, and they keep you satisfied and keep you on the go, like small things that you could just eat throughout the day, that you don't have to worry about like, oh my goodness, I don't have time to sit. make yourself some to-go things that you can eat that's going to keep you satisfied, keep you from binging on things, and healthy. And then another thing is having your snacks prepared. If you do have this time, have your snacks prepared, because you don't want to have like a sweet tooth hit. Like for me, I love gummy bears, but if I love gummy bears, then I'm going to make my own healthy gummy bears at home, bag them up, and then eat them when
Oh,
I'm ready to grab my snack.
wait a minute. You said you make gummy bears?
Yeah, fruit roll-ups,
Oh,
gummy bears with the real fruit with honey. Yeah, make that stuff. It
oh,
takes like a couple of seconds to get your stuff together, puree your things, set your molds, set it and forget it. It's gonna be ready the next day. Then just bag your stuff up so you have it there, you know?
wait. Okay, so you mix all the stuff. So r
Mhm.
run me through how do you make fruit roll-ups? Let's do those.
Okay, so my fruit roll-ups is really, really easy. You just make a fruit puree. So I think, what was it, mango and strawberry that I did the last time? Just pureed the fruit, mixed it with the honey for sweetener. You get your wax paper, you lay it out, spread it thin, and then you put it in the oven. You let it bake. You want it to get rubbery, and then after that, you just cut your strips and roll them up, and that's it.
Hmm, that was quick and easy. Gummy bears, give it to me.
Same thing, gelatin, puree, put it in your little molds, and the best part about this, you can make them as big as you want because you have your own molds. Set it and forget it, and then they're ready. It's like, yeah.
Okay, and so the gelatin, when you talk, are you talking about like the box, like Jello gelatin, or the actual gelatin where you can get? I don't do gelatin, so I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, the actual gelatin that you can get, because you can do Jello
Mm,
gelatin too, but I never tried that. I would think I would make like little Jello gummy bears if I did that. You know what I mean? But like
mhm,
the actual gelatin Jello, and I'm gonna make some one day. Maybe we could do like a little cook snack with me type of deal, and I can show y'all how to make it. And yes, a lot of that stuff is very simple. You can do your own dehydrated fruits, as you
mhm,
know. You can do your own little chips if you want to put them in the oven, like snap peas. Put your little seasonings on them, put them in the oven, let them get kind of crispy, and then now you
mhm.
have your own veggie chips and things of that nature. So there's a lot of, excuse me, things you can do to just have, banana chips. You can make your own banana chips. It's a lot of things you can do. Your own ice cream. You can make your own ice cream
Oh
with
yeah,
banana without any ice cream.
oh yeah. That's my one of my go-tos. Yes.
Uh-huh. So it's like so many things that you could do that you think maybe, okay, that's from scratch. It takes a lot of time, but it really doesn't. Making banana ice cream doesn't take a lot of time.
Nope.
You just do what you have to do. So just make the time, whatever day of the week that you have, in meal prep, snack prep, whatever it is that you can do.
All right, I gotta get better at that. But right now it's easy because I'm doing fruit. So.
Yeah, very easy. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about too. I'm glad you said that. Perimeter shopping. Because sometimes they have fresh meals. I know at Publix, sometimes they have really nice fresh cooked meals that they already have packaged. But when you go in a grocery shop store, you should be shopping the perimeter first, and then you can go down the aisles for the things that you need. So
Mhm.
don't go down the aisles and get caught up with these cookies and these soft drinks. No, perimeter. Hit that veggie, hit that dairy, hit the meat, the fresher meat, hit
Mhm.
those sections first before you start going down the frozen food aisles. And even when you do start going down the aisles, it should be for, like, in my opinion, pasta, or if
Mhm.
you're getting some rice, you're getting your bread, or you're getting like your dried peas and things of
Mhm.
that nature.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
you're saying just act like the snack aisle just aisles because you have your chips and all
Correct.
that, and you have your cookies and all. So you're just saying act like those don't exist.
Act like they don't exist. Fill up your cart with all the healthy stuff. So then when it's time to go get the bad stuff, it's like, oh, I don't even have room in my cart for that.
Oh,
It'll help you.
people gonna do that. They gonna even if you have to carry it in your hand. 'Cause I know
That's
me.
so true.
If I have a hankering for, I'll go in there without. I won't get a cart. I won't have my bag. I'm just going to get a couple of things. By the time I'm up, I'm like
Yep.
this, and people are like, "Do you need a cart?" I was like, because if I get a cart, I'm gonna put more stuff. I
Right
just have
into
my
it.
hands to limit me, but I'm
That's
doing double
me.
arm.
That's me too. And when I'm walking, I'm like, please don't let this line be low. And I have to hold these items for so long. Oh my goodness. And it's so true because, even when I'm going down to get my cranberry juice, I have to make sure, okay, 100% cranberry juice, not fruit cocktail, and not
Mm,
the 100% because sometimes it says 100%, but it says vitamin C, and it's still
mhm,
in the fruit cocktail. So I'm like, you
mhm.
have to pay attention to that stuff, people. When you're going down there, you're getting your vegetables in the cans because there's nothing wrong with getting canned vegetables. There's nothing wrong with getting canned fruit. Just make sure it's in 100% fruit juice or water. Do
Mm,
not get it in syrup
right.
because that's that additional sugar. And that's
Yep.
why those fruits taste so good. I used to love to eat canned fruit because I wasn't good at picking out fresh fruit. And then finding out, oh, it's so good because they done added all this syrup to it. No wonder it's been marinating.
High fructose corn syrup and yeah.
Oh, it's such a real thing. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so just making sure just everything you get, read the label and just try to make the best choice. And I understand certain things are out of convenience. No problem. I get it. Just try to make the healthiest choice option you can and carve out some time to put healthy things in your body.
And just basically balance it. So if you have a misstep or you have that thing that's going to be bad, then just try to
Yeah.
balance the rest of the day.
Definitely. Whatever time of the day you decide to do, I don't care if you eat ice cream for breakfast. Try to balance it for the rest of the day of eating healthy. Just to know you have 24 hours in a day. So, like, okay, I have the rest of my day to do good by my body, to do right by my body, to try to fill it with healthier items. Like sometimes I see people because with the heavy salad dressing, how you see like the salads and they're putting all that stuff on and they're like, that is so unhealthy. I'm like, for my patients, I don't care. Are you getting the greens in you? That's all I care about.
They would love you then because it's like, yeah, I want a little salad with my dressing.
Yes, a little
And
salad.
and and my dietitian said it's okay. I'm getting my green. So
Yes, because it's like it's baby steps. I never want to detour anyone from trying their best to eat healthy. So if it's
mm,
like, hey, if you're gonna have a little salad with your dressing, I'm happy you're eating greens because I know some people who don't eat veggies at all. So I'm like, okay, you're eating that. Now let's try halving that amount of dressing. Let's add some oil and vinegar with it because it's more so people want because the creamier dressings, they want it to spread all over, and it's hard to get it to
mhm,
spread when it's just that. But if you add some oil and vinegar, it makes it more lubricant so that those creamy dressings can spread all over. So you're using less. Or
mm,
season your salads because people don't season their salads. The reason why the salads at restaurants taste so good is because they're putting actual seasoning on their salads. So just get you to eat right first, and
mhm.
then we'll make it work. We'll get you there.
Sounds like a winner.
Yes.
All righty. Well, I think we hit it. Did we miss anything that you wanted to
No, I
tell
think
me
we
about
talked
this?
about everything. Grocery shopping, reading the labels. Yeah, just things to be aware of. So that's everything for me.
All right. So next time y'all stop by McDonald's and that Big Mac meal, think about all those calories and all that fat.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. I am Gayla, aka the Awkward Introverted Therapist.
And I am Winter Ross, the dietitian extraordinaire.
Ooh, got it. You want to see more? Click like, click share. See you next time.
Bye.